All right, I have three questions for you. Have you ever asked yourself, what big thing do you want to accomplish in your life? And then have you asked yourself, why do you want to accomplish that big thing? And lastly, can you see that big thing in your imagination so strong that it feels like you can touch it before it appears in your physical world? Now, I believe every successful person has asked themselves those three questions either directly or indirectly. Now, my name is Carlton Hamilton, and at the age of 18, just 1 year after high school graduation, I was selected by the Chicago Cubs in the amateur baseball draft. Within 3 years, I had been selected as an all-star twice, and I led one of my teams to a league championship. Baseball America magazine had selected me as the #1 major league prospect in the Chicago Cubs organization. Fast forward 3 years and 2 arm surgeries later, I was completely out of baseball, and I began to identify myself as a washed-up professional athlete. In sociology, that is known as trained incapacity, where your strengths now work as inadequacies or blind spots. That allowed me to, or created a mental state to sink into depression, homelessness on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona. Now, I began eating my meals in unhealthy fast food restaurants. I washed up in public restrooms, and I slept in my car until a felony crime landed me in jail. Now I'm locked up, and I'm about to receive the first visit from my lawyer. So they are shackling my wrists and ankles and escorting me into the legal visitation area where I'm meeting my lawyer, Monique. Mr. Hamilton, the first thing she says, due to the circumstances of your crime, you are now facing 19 to 67 years in prison. Yes, silence filled the room. So now, after sharing a few more nuggets of my information of my case with me, they escorted me back to my cell. And when the door slammed, I collapsed to my knees and I began to cry. Now, as I got to my feet and I wiped my eyes, I began to speak to myself. And I said, God, if you are listening, if you are watching, I am placing this situation in your hands, because it is obvious that what I have done has not worked up until this point. Now, interesting enough, something magical began to happen from that point. My lawyer knew the prosecuting attorney and convinced him to remove the 19 to 67 year charge off the table and replace it with a plea of 5 to 7. Now, when that information was presented to the judge gladly accepted it, and she stated clearly that she did because she saw the love and support in the form of phone calls, letters, faxes that came into her office, and some people that actually, friends, colleagues, had come to court and spoke on my behalf. So now I am about to embark on my life as a prison inmate. So every day that I walk the grounds of Arizona State Department of Corrections, I would imagine myself walking the grounds of Arizona State University. So I went back and started taking college courses in prison. I took counseling classes, and I read everything that I could get my hands on. So almost 4 years to the day that I was released from prison, I not only walked the grounds of Arizona State University, I walked across the stage, and I graduated from Arizona State University with my bachelor's degree. Now, since that time, I have become a father, author, business owner, and now a motivational speaker. But there were some real important things that I learned along the way. And most importantly was when I asked myself those three questions, it allowed me to create a vision in my mind to become a successful professional athlete. When I didn't ask myself those questions, I sank into depression, homelessness, and incarceration. I was wandering through life and wandering behind people who had asked themselves those three questions: what, why, and operated from their imagination. Because you see, I graduated from high school with a 1.5 grade point average. I basically was passed through the system with no academic culpability because I was an elite athlete. But what I learned most importantly is that when you ask yourself those three questions, when I was in prison, it allowed me to reinvent myself and recapture my life, and I believe save my life. So, my question to you is, why do I ask these three questions? Because as you can see by my journey, I believe your life depends on it. Thank you.